Hey everybody, I'm Morgan.
And this is Ryan.
And we're talking chitty.
Oh, I guess we're ready now. I think we're going to do this.
Yeah, so we had a we had a really awesome podcast the other day.
Yes, we did.
It was a lot of fun. And
got some pretty good feedback.
Yeah.
Sent it out to a couple people.
Go ahead and tell them about the feedback we got. And just let people know.
What's being said about
talking chitty.
You forgot your own name?
You looked at me and I was like,
I was going to let you say it.
I was like a deer in the headlights, like, oh shit.
This is what I'm working with,
what
people.
What am I supposed to say?
Okay. Some of these comments are going to make sense now.
God dang. Okay,
all right, so here's some of them. Both of your voices sound like you've been doing radio for years.
That was sweet.
We had been doing it for that long, however long that podcast was. Thank you.
What? We both listened to the radio as kids, so maybe that whole maybe I always feel like I'm on the radio when in my own private head. I always feel like maybe there's a camera following me, so I have I don't know. Maybe I've been prepared this for my whole life. I don't know.
Good.
I did want to marry Jeff Foxworthy when I was a kid.
Yeah, you did.
So
we actually listened to that same stand-up CD or cassette tape. Actually,
I love it when we talk about it. And I was going for a beauty pageant, and the judges asked me what I was going to do with my life.
'Cause you're a fucking lady.
And it was a horse show beauty pageant. It was rodeo queen, and I got third place. But anyway, I told the judges.
It's funny when we play Monopoly. I always get second place at the beauty contest. So. Guess they don't have a third place one for you.
But yeah, anyway, I told them I was going to marry Jeff Foxworthy, so maybe that's why we were made for this. I was made to have a microphone in my face. But anyway, go ahead, Brian, finish them.
So another one was Ryan, nice and deep voice. Morgan, authoritative and sexy. Morgan, I love your use of expletives. It's
raw.
It's raw and relatable. You're a babe.
I love it.
I enjoyed the background info and enjoyed getting to know who you guys are. All caps, kudos to you both for not being PC or offensive. Too many people apologize for who they are or what they say. I like you guys own who and what you are.
Yes, we do.
Love your guys' quotes at the end. Ryan, love the quote you tell your kids, build your future, don't consume it.
These are some really great points, and I really appreciate everybody that took the time to listen to this. We appreciate it so much because we're super nervous about releasing it out, but we kind of don't give a shit if anybody listens either because we're just having a good time doing it.
I care. Please listen.
Hit the like button, please. Please, oh God.
No, I don't know about all that. So, Morgan, fantastic job of describing any detail relative to your history and reminding Ryan to share details relative to your discussion. It gives us, the listeners, more material to comprehend your points, and you become relatable.
I hope you guys agree.
You're both comical. That laughter lightens the mood. Morgan, you were actually voted most likely to be missed at your high school.
Oh my God, I don't even know how that happened, but I felt really special afterwards. And now let's remember that we only graduated with 140 people in our class. It was a really small.
Pool wasn't large.
It was a really small school, but it was cool because everybody knew everybody. If there was a party, someone's cousin was the sheriff, and they were going to show up. But yeah, really small town.
I appreciate your guys' humble attitude, not acting as an authority on everything you did right, but rather a source of not acting as an authority on everything you did right, but rather a source of inspiration for what worked for you and how it may help others. Ryan, great work. This is my favorite one. Ryan, great work bringing Morgan back when she gets sidetracked.
Choo choo. That's for you, Mom.
Your guys' chemistry is obvious. And here's a question. Have y'all thought about the significance of those items found, e.g. the ring and wedding ring picture, wedding ring and wedding picture pertaining to your commitment to each other?
From the house fire. Absolutely. And I can't believe we didn't even mention that, but we would always tell people.
That's how they knew about it.
Well, I meant the meaning behind it. When that happened, I kind of felt like a fire is like a cleansing. It's like a rise from the ashes. If you believe in religion, then you'll know that fire was used as a cleansing, right? And so I felt like that's kind of what it did. It kind of cleansed a lot of negative energy that we had and just kind of redirected our entire focus.
Sure. Yeah.
And seeing that picture, and it was still in the frame, and you know, it wasn't even like the grass wasn't even cracked. Maybe it was cracked a little, but it was like perfect, and it was just timeless. And it made me really feel, especially with my ring, it made me feel like we could go through anything. You know, if we could get through this, then we could get through anything.
Yeah, you know, actually, there was another one. Sometimes sometimes in homes fires, the Bible is the only thing you hear that wasn't destroyed. In your personal experience, it was the items pertaining to your relationship, marriage, commitment, and have you ever considered the relevance that played into your decision to take on the world together by building a future as one, opposed to working separately?
Yeah. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, it's us against the world. And, you know, being 18 and getting married and running off to Alaska, or we got shipped off to Alaska, really. We had, 7 guys from your OSIT training with us on the airplane. Yep. I actually wasn't even on his orders. I was just like, I'm going to fucking Alaska. The Army is just going to accept me and have to deal with this when we get there. This is going to happen. And we did. We sat in like, when Ryan was in processing, I just sat in the lobby the whole time and waited for him to go through his processing. But here's the thing, right? When you're newlyweds and you're in Alaska and you don't have anybody, you don't know anybody, you don't have
money.
You're not even a car yet. My mom was still in the process of getting that all shipped.
Top ramen, frozen burritos.
And here's the thing. You get in a fight, you can't go to your mom's, you can't go to your best friends, you can't do shit. And being 18 and being surrounded by that for so long, and then being out and literally in the fucking Arctic, like the last frontier, not knowing anything. I don't even know how to grocery shop.
You could literally break down and die. It gets that cold.
Yeah, like, so I would get in the car, we'd get in this fight, we'd be screaming and cursing at each other. And I'd get in my car and I'd drive, and I'd get to the end of the road where there was like this church or like something, and I was like stopping, and I'm like, if I leave post, I could die.
Literally, you could end up in the abyss.
I could literally
of all
be
of
a little
Alaska.
bitch, a little brat that I am. I'm the youngest child. I could be a brat and be
She
like,
is a brat.
I'll show him, you know, and I'll go out. And then they'll find me like 7 days later. Here's the thing, though. We had just lost a friend in a car accident. She like drowned or whatever in her car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it was kind of like, I don't want to go anywhere. So I would turn around and I would have to go back home, and we would have to figure that shit out.
You have to face the music.
We had to look at each other, you know, and he was my best friend, and he was Joe nothing. So he was like an E1 private. He was getting smoked every day, you know, so he needed me to come home like too. And so we really relied on each other. And I think that is like the strongest foundation I think we could have given ourselves in a relationship. To go to go through everything like we did, because we had to talk about death. We had to talk at 19 years old. We had to come up with his funeral plans and life insurance, and we had to go through a lot of discussions most people don't have until they're 60s.
While we were trying to create life.
Yeah. As soon as we found out that Ryan was going to be deployed, we looked at each other, and it's like, well, you could put your stuff in a sperm bank, or we could.
No, you just kind of told me, you're like, you're going to give me a war
sex.
baby.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to give me a baby, because I've had bad feelings about him leaving. So, and we actually named her Ryan after him because of that, and it's spelled Rion, like the constellation. Not because I'm a hippie, but because that's really the only constellation I know in the sky. that I can see, that I can like point out. Like sometimes I'm like, I think that's the Big Dipper. It's like a squarish thing. Yes. But anyway,
so the
yeah,
follow-up question to that one is, do you feel, or have you ever thought that was a sign to bring you closer, or as a reminder you are both part of a team and you can accomplish great things jointly? Just curious.
She hit the nail on the head with that.
Here's the thing.
It's true.
The movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that part when they start just having a full-on firefight
in the house,
Mortal Kombat in the house, okay? It kind of seems like that's what it was like the whole time we were building the bus. We actually work very horribly together. Awful. Yeah. I mean, it's so awful, but we create such nice things when we do work together.
Look at our children.
But you make it so hard to work with you. Why? What is that?
So it's my fault. Here we go. You know, let's break down this marriage counseling on air. So, you know what? I think she, the chick who sent us that comment, she is so right, because, you know, going through all of that and where we were at in our life at that time, we were really Chicken Little. Like, we kind of thought the end of the world was coming. Like, I mean, just we wanted to be prepared. We wanted
Well,
to
it was
be
our
prepared.
first recession we ever had to deal with.
It was. I had
adults.
lost my job. It was just like a big deal. And
I just gotten back from a war.
yeah. Oh no, I hadn't lost my job yet. But either
No, you
way.
didn't.
No, but either way, it was just bad. We were just in a negative headspace, and everybody's been there. Everybody's been through that time in their life. They're like, "This isn't me. I don't like this person." You know, you're still trying to figure out who we were. We
Yeah,
were
for
still
sure.
in our 20s this whole time when
Yep.
everybody else was out partying, and we partied. Now, whenever we got to Moorhead, we did have our party days, but we had
Partied
a
in
kid.
Alaska,
You know,
hood.
we did have to be more responsible. We couldn't just get blackout, shit-faced drunk. You know, we had to be responsible. We had to. And I was usually pregnant, so I was the DD automatically. And in Alaska, it was cool because you
Thanks,
could,
babe.
you could like, yeah, you're welcome. You know how many of his friends have DUIs? You're fucking welcome.
You're welcome.
So
Most of my friends have like 5.
yeah, exactly.
I think the average number would probably be 3.
Well, that's the combat veterans. That's, you know, not the best thing, but I guarantee you, all those guys are like, I got one too.
Sure.
But I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah, it's absolutely right though. I
Call them
think
driving badges.
I think if you can sit back and look at your relationship from a perspective of as an outsider and know that if you know that you guys maybe aren't in a good place, you know, I hate to say that we attracted that house fire, but I really feel like our energy attracted that house fire.
Possibly could have.
It didn't renew my sense in God or anything afterwards. It didn't like make me be like, oh, Jesus. I was very thankful my family was safe because it could have happened when we were asleep in the bed and everybody died or something awful. And it didn't happen that way. But it was a jolt. It was a huge jolt. And not everybody should have to go through that to get that jolt. Everybody has their own experience, you know, to hopefully wake them up. Here's the thing. Are you listening? Are you listening to that?
Yeah.
And we listened, and we really were like, holy shit, like we really need each other, and our kids need us to be strong through this. We can't just crumble and cry every fucking day.
It's one of the best lessons we ever were given.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really, really was. And I'm really humbled by that whole experience too. I'm a little pissed off. There's still a little bit of hate in my heart.
Hate in your heart, let it out.
Yeah. There is a little bit. But okay, so basically we had some really great reviews. That was it, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was
So
great?
I was just looking.
Okay.
So now, today, what
Oh,
have I
God.
lost? I have lost $284 and then another $85 after hours.
Oh, geez.
That's what happened today. But it was worth it.
He's
we
doing
go
really
to-
good, though.
We went to Walmart
Oh,
today.
check this out.
Yeah, ran into a blast from the past. And so we're in Walmart, and I see this gentleman off to my right. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, this guy looks like somebody I know. But I don't want to stare at him too long, you know, then it just gets weird. So, but I make eye contact with this other man. So I see this man see me,
Hey, dude.
see him. He just acts like, whatever, I don't know who you are. Okay, I'm going to go on my way. So me and Morgan, we're about to check out, and I'm whispering, hey, I think it's, this guy I used to know. And then sure enough, he walks up, and I saw him again, and he's asking us, hey, that is you. And so anyways, it was, he's Master Sergeant Gardley now, but yeah, Staff Sergeant Gardley.
Yeah,
So
it was really cool.
we were
to
in
see him.
Alaska and Iraq together. That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's always really cool because we travel so much. Like we've always, here's the thing people forget too, is we've never been like, because of the Army, and you have to move and you're away from people that you know and stuff. If you stay with your duty station, right? If you don't leave your husband and you don't go back home, whatever. But if you stay there, you don't have all this help all the time. So whenever you find somebody like that,
Yeah.
okay, somebody that you had camaraderie with, somebody that you went through experiences with that were unlike any other, you're going to have this connection. And so, like, it's almost like we feel safer because we know people here. It's just nice to have that familiar feeling. That's something I do miss. Like, being on the road, you don't just have that familiar.
Face.
Yeah, like, you don't have.
Hey, I know you.
Yeah. But I don't like to always be surrounded by that. But it was really cool, like, to get to see him and to know that he's here. And, like, now we have someone to hang out with maybe, throughout our time while we're here in Sierra Vista. So I'm really excited about it.
How long were we there? Just chatting?
Oh, my God. I don't know.
Long time.
It was a long
I
time.
just know I checked my Robinhood account, and because I wasn't, watching it, we were just supposed to run to the store real quick, go pick up some things, come back to the, bus. And then next thing I know, boom, me and Gardley over there just chat-chitting like two high school girls or something.
Oh, my God. It was so funny. Whenever they saw each other, when they recognized, because I guess he recognized my haircut and my Vibram 5-finger shoes. It was like, because I always post about my Vibrams, and he's like, I got 5-finger shoes. And there's something that 5-finger shoe owners do is like we connect and you notice immediately that somebody else has 5 fingers.
That'd be a good vine.
So he just, oh my God, what are those? Right? So anyway, he was like, I saw it, whatever, I saw you. And I was like, yeah, that has to be Crab. And like, the way that they embraced and hugged, I actually like started crying a little. I got a little teary. I had to cry over everything. Sorry, guys. But I get emotional over like dog commercials. But anyway, so I'm like tearing up and they're like the biggest, loudest dudes in Walmart and just hugging each other and slapping each other on the back. And it was just really sweet.
I know those smacks were pretty loud too.
It was sweet. It sounded like you were either
staring at us,
or you were like embracing and like
he's a big man too, so
yeah, they're
people
both
were probably worried. How are we
large.
gonna break these two big guys up?
Oh,
We're just gonna let them go. They'll get tired.
This?
They look like heavyweights. We'll just let them tire out in 15 seconds.
What code is that? It's not code Adam is for like missing kids, so it's like code bear. Everybody
Maybe.
draw attention. Is this a distraction? Is someone stealing something in electronics?
But yeah, so we had a great time.
It was cool.
Chat-chitted a little bit. Had a little, reunion right in the middle of Walmart. I mean, that's kind of what Walmart's there for.
It is.
And
at least in our experience.
I lost, $300-something today. $350, whatever
Yeah.
$285 plus 85 is.
It's Monday.
It's that much.
He has to remember it's Monday. The market's still coming on. Like it sucks.
It's money well
I know.
spent.
It is.
I just
You know
want
what?
you to know, brother.
You're welcome.
You're expensive to hang out with.
We didn't even get drunk or nothing.
Yeah, I didn't even have one drink.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was the best. Like honestly, best day I've had in a long time though. Just like to see somebody that. Oh my God.
It's great. It was a really
awesome.
great feeling. And that's I guess too like, being far, like we had said, how our relationship has kind of gone through these different stages and different growing experiences and ups and downs, and it is definitely work.
Phone's going off.
Yeah, sorry.
Why don't you put that on mute?
Oh yeah, huh?
God, see the professionalism I'm working with here, people.
But anyway, so basically what we wanted to talk about today even was the bus and kind of the whole build and stuff, right?
Sure. You talk about whatever you want.
And yeah, I want to let y'all know that this isn't a YouTube video. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Oh, you know what? Something I wanted to talk about? Remember that lady we listened to? Okay, so you notice it's so awful, these wildfires in California, by the way. My heart goes out to those people.
Yeah, it's
I will
bad.
say that I'm glad that they are going through it
together.
With a group of people.
Yeah, at least they have a tribe that they're going through it with.
Yes, and you have like everybody's lost everything.
It's not good they have to go through it,
Absolutely
but
not.
if they have to go through it, because they don't have a choice, obviously, at least, they have a tribe of people, and a shout out to all the firemen and women that are out there.
They're going to be forgotten as soon as this is over, and you guys risk your lives. And they actually talked about the PTSD with firefighters is like going up.
That's their most cause of death right now with
California.
firefighters. Yeah, PTSD.
Last year they had more suicides than they actually lost firefighters and fires, and that is just awful. And the fires are getting worse. We were actually in the Redwoods when the Chetco fires. Brookings, Oregon had the huge Chetco fire. We were literally 45 minutes from there.
California had 2 or 3 fires around us. It got to the point where, what was it? We had there was 3 ways to get out of where we were in Camp Klamath. And then when it got down to just 2 ways to get out, then we decided, we're going to take off. Because now I have a 50-50 if one of them goes out, but I have, only one shot if, one of them goes out. So, yeah. We did get out of there, but those were some gnarly fires.
No, it was
a lot of smoke.
There's a lot of celebrities even that have lost houses, and James Woods was using his Twitter to like find people, and it's amazing. And you know what's crazy is that I know it really sucks during these times, like especially with politics, like everybody gets so divided. Mm-hmm. But when things like this happen, we're just like.
Americans are great
man.
at coming together. We fight like cats and
like
dogs.
We don't, dude. We fight like we're brother and sister, over stupid shit. Okay, here's the thing, you guys. stop fighting over Republican, Democrat. Like, that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want.
Now. Okay.
Yeah, I just want people to open your mind up just a little bit, you know, and just realize that there is some middle ground. Okay, we formed this fucking country just as opposite today as we were back then.
I want you to remember what you're saying right now, our next argument. Morgan, there's middle ground. Just remember this.
There's always a middle ground. Okay, you don't have to agree with each other, but you can still be a friend and you can still come up. I would hate to be a politician right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because it's fucking awful. You got sanctuary cities. You got, you know, Trump is like threatening states.
Caravan on its way.
The caravan's coming. Like, there's a fucking problem. Maybe a recession coming. Yeah, again. Like,
I hate to have to make these decisions.
No, so here's
they're
the thing.
They're earning their money right now for sure.
No,
whoever
they
is in
definitely
office
are.
right now.
But people need to remember that you cannot be a what do you call that person whenever they shout shitty stuff, like you're being aggressive while throwing rocks at you. Like, it's ridiculous.
Hater.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so don't be a hater. You know, like, there has to be a middle ground. We cannot solve this with anger and violence. So we have to solve this as civilized human beings. You know, back in the day, they used to lock the door, and they would be like, all right, we need to hash this shit out. Now we don't do. Now everybody's, like, grandstanding and doing fucking political stunts.
Because it's fun. You ever got on a soapbox?
Yeah,
You just told your side?
I'm doing a fucking podcast.
Oh,
I know all about.
Speaking of the soapbox, you got to see. So what was something that you wanted to see, and it was like your lifelong dream in the VA? You just wanted to see what?
I wanted to see an old combat-ridden, like, Vietnam, World War II era vet just fucking complain about the government.
Soapbox and
just shit on the government. I wanted to hear it because we're in a government building.
Chitty chat.
Yeah, and I want him to talk chitty. That's
chitty.
the new.
You
That's
wanted
the
him
name.
to talk chitty.
I want you to talk chitty, and he did finally in the Austin.
Literally
VA.
stood on top of one of the coffee tables,
table.
knife handing, poking it in, and pointing at
I'm
everybody.
tell you about the government.
This is horseshit. The VA. God damn it.
Yeah, it was before Trump was president.
Was it?
It was when Obama was in. The VA wasn't that great. I think we're making strides, guys. We're doing it's coming along.
Hey, Michelle Obama just came out with a new book too.
Yeah, she did. We watched her interview today. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. She went back to her old house.
Oh, that over the train track. She said it was really cool. It was really cool to see and listen to her side of the story, you know, and how she said she just kind of had to put on her hater suit and deflect hate when she first started in the office. And I think everybody goes through that in their life where, you know, you have to kind of get over being hated. And leaving high school, like, I was most likely to be missed. I went from that into Army, FRG, a lot of high school drama. Like, it was very, very drama. And,
Really?
yeah, I learned really quick that people hated me. They did not like me because they didn't like my face, I
Girls
guess.
are catty, though.
Yeah, I didn't even know half the women that were talking. It was crazy. And so I went from, like, it was just, that was a huge wake-up call to me. And I was like, you know what? Fuck all these people. I didn't care. I had my husband. He got home from Iraq, and I was super thankful for that. And that's really all I ever needed, you know? And here's the thing. It also taught me that I don't need all these other people in my life, though, either. I don't need to be surrounded by 100 friends to feel, you know, because you could feel alone in a crowded room.
That's a fact.
You know,
in New York City, there was actually and I'm going to massacre this, little piece, but they feel more alone, even though they have, in Manhattan, they feel more alone, even though there's people that literally are bumping into them as they're walking down the street.
Well, remember when we visited?
It goes into what you're saying.
When Brian and I visited Manhattan back in 2008, and that was one thing we noticed. Nobody was rude. People were actually really nice, but everybody was just in their own world.
Yeah, there's two types of people. There was ones that were really, glad to help you, teach you the subway tunnels, how to,
navigate the streets. And
like,
the hobos and the rats.
And then there was the person that they just did not care anything about you, so they just kept to their own business. Yeah, but they weren't shitty.
No, they weren't. They were really nice, and it was just different. Like in the South, people are like, oh, everybody's so nice. Why are you waving at me? I don't know you. Because that's what we do. We say when we notice each other, and we're like, you're existing on this planet. I exist on this planet. And we're just acknowledging our existence as human beings. It's literally nothing any more than that. you know, and just wishing the best for mankind. I can like that's the simplest way I can put it, because I don't know if anybody's ever been to the South and you're driving down a street and then all of a sudden you're at a stop sign maybe and you're staring at somebody else in their car and then you see like a finger go up.
Yep.
And you're like, what the fuck, are they flipping me off? If you're not from the South, you don't know. That is the howdy.
That's just howdy.
That's just a little finger. A
Finger.
little finger wave to be like, how you doing, partner? Like, that's it. And people think that's so weird. Okay, if you haven't left the South and you go up north, and I do that. I did that.
Yeah, people don't wave to you outside.
People do not wave to you up north. And they kind of think it's weird that you like
that crushed your soul. That everyone didn't care about you, Morgan.
Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Just my narcissism.
Could be. There's nothing wrong with it. We all have a little bit of it.
You love it.
But, you know, we had to figure out, too, that it was quality over quantity.
Yes.
You know, just start shrinking the size of your group.
Yeah,
your board of executives that you have built around you.
You kind of, without intentionally doing it, you start like, oh, they have this, or, you know, and then you start wanting things that other people have. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need what they have. Like, everybody is so different, and everybody needs different things.
Sure.
And not everybody needs a bunch of toys. Some people, and you know, people ask us all the time, like, how do you stay in this tiny house with your kids? I could never do that. I don't know. Maybe because our kids are a little bit older. I mean, here's the thing. When we had kids, we hunkered down. Like I said before, we never were near family that we could just throw our kids off on and be like, we're going on a date night, or we're going to go do this, stay with Granny Pappy for a week, you know, like we didn't have that. So it was always just us, and anybody that was allowed into our circle near our kids was like very privileged because we protected them very much. And, you know,
remember the time your mom did take the girls?
Oh, for like a week at the fair.
And what did we do? Nothing.
We literally sat in the house and we were naked.
Yeah. Hung out.
We smoked a little weed.
That's it.
And ate.
Watched movies.
That's actually when we watched
There wasn't a lot of trash in the garbage can. There was like hardly any dishes.
No dishes.
Yeah, man.
The house was always clean. It reminded me of our first 2 years together being married. Like, everybody would come to our house and be like, I feel like I'm in a museum. And we're like, well, that's just because we don't really use the furniture. We usually just we would sit in these lawn chairs in the living room and play Halo online. And that's pretty much what we did in 2003.
Oh, Halo online back in the day.
2004.
Tits. I love that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So we were like big kids in this house, and we had friends that could buy beer. So that was nice. So every weekend, let me tell you what my life was like growing up with grunts, okay? Every weekend, someone's bringing some beer over. Or maybe, you know what, even during the week, I would cook a bunch of Joe's, the grilled cheese sandwiches.
Or whatever liquor bottles they could conjure up.
And we would have a party. And in Alaska, the sun doesn't set in the summertime in Fairbanks, Alaska. I don't know if y'all know that. The sun, it's like up all the time. It looks like it's, I guess, 5 o'clock in the evening at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we threw a party for 2 days and didn't know
We didn't even know.
It was time to go back to work, and so nobody had slept.
We were like, we need more beer. And we were like, let's go to the Class 6. And the Class 6 was closed because it was Sunday. And there was no beer. We're like, oh, shit, we literally partied for 2 days.
I think they close on Sunday.
Well, no, they didn't open till 12 or something. It was like, and we had already lost our buzz by then, I think. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and we found each other as our support. And so then he left me for 1.5 years to go fight in some war. I don't know if y'all know about it, but he's, you know, and so then that was really a big growing time for us. So then when he came back, we really had to just learn how to communicate again and understand each other, and took a lot of work.
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about the bus today. So what do you want to talk about when it comes to the bus?
So basically, I mean, we can talk about the beginning, I guess. Like, what was it like for us when we started doing all this bus shit?
We didn't know how to do any of this.
I know the first podcast we talked about how we renovated it and stuff, and then when we finally got it to West Texas, we moved in with one of Ryan's Army buddies, Jim, and he was so awesome for letting us stay there.
Lead singer of Jimmy and the Johnsons.
Check him out on Spotify,
I
y'all.
actually got to open for the Bellamy Brothers.
As what, sir?
Lead. I like to just leave it at lead. I was lead. I played lead.
Lead what?
Lead cowbell.
We want to know the instrument you rock God on.
Yeah. So, actually, funny story. When we got to, was it East Texas, West Louisiana? It was literally on the border. And we walked into a restaurant, and one of the waitresses says, I know you. I know who you are. You're famous.
You guys, his head got so fucking big.
Totally did. Because I knew she obviously had me confused with somebody else. She's like, no, I know you. You're a musician. Whoa, she's getting closer. I was like, yeah, I used to play lead for a band. She's looking around, trying to, look in her deepest, darkest parts of her brain. And finally she's like, you played lead for Jimmy and the Johnsons. So I died laughing like, holy shit, how do you even know that? Said she saw it on Facebook.
Oh.
Yep. I played lead cowbell for Jimmy and the Johnsons for one gig. And Mark McKinney, I think Mark McKinney. So he opened for Mark McKinney and Mark McKinney and the Bellamy Brothers.
Yes.
Yep.
So we had a really awesome experience with Jim and his band, pretty much the whole build. Like we listened to his whole album being made, actually.
Yeah, they would come and rock out. Yep.
And so Jim, he had this 3-bedroom house.
Built our bus to live music.
And he invited us to stay and he was our connection to all these mentors. Robbie, the diesel mechanic, which is his brother-in-law, Logan. Kevin. Who else? There was also, I need to mute my phone. Jeez.
See what I'm dealing with here, guys. That's twice. Home stenographer. We got it here. We're trying to do a podcast here, lady.
Yeah, I know. But he hooked us up with a lot of mentors, and I'm really thankful for that because without him, the bus wouldn't even be near where it is. So he was definitely our guy that knows a guy. He was that guy.
Jim knows everyone. He is if in the apocalypse I could choose one person, it would be him for sure. You know why? Because he's the guy that finds guys.
Yeah, he is. He knows
He can find anyone.
He's
us up with some master networker.
So because of that, and we also had his buddy Drew and his family, actually. We stayed with them for a couple weeks while we got our shit together, got stuff in storage, and just kind of sorted stuff out. So we're really thankful they helped us move and stuff. It was awesome. Awesome brethren of the of his infantry community. But yeah, so we got into the bus, and we didn't really know. We knew we needed to get rid of a lot of wires. If anybody that's ever converted a bus knows, the first thing when you see is a spaghetti mess of wires.
It's a monster.
And he kind of taught us the colors. I was behind him with a notebook, writing down left means yellow. You know, or I don't even know now. I don't know. But green and red and whatever and all these things.
Green is right.
Green is right. I don't know. Who knows?
I'd
have to get my notebook.
Yeah, you still have your notebook.
Or just get on YouTube. Anyway, so I was behind him, right? And Robbie pulled all these wires. And then he showed us how to trace them and all these things. So then we started pulling out stuff we didn't need. And I think we had 40 pounds of wire.
That's what we say. We actually never weighed it. But yeah, it was a huge chest full of switches and wire.
Reuse that stuff.
Fuses. Yeah, definitely.
The clips, harnesses. You can reuse. Yeah, we reuse that wire a ton of places.
Yep.
And I think we left it with him, though,
we did.
at the end. Yeah, so he had supplies, a bucket of bolts from all the seats and stuff.
Screws.
Everything.
Yeah, it was like a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket full of screws, another one full of bolts.
We reused those. We probably reused 3/4 of the bolts and shit that came out of this bus.
Oh, yeah, we used a lot.
And washers and stuff, absolutely.
Sure.
And nuts. But, but yeah, so... And then after that, we were kind of what do we do? We ran the backup camera, which works. I'm so glad we have that because it's such a long bus, and it's nice to kind of know what's behind you when you're driving. And then we also put in those LED light bars so we can see at night. And then we laid the subfloor down.
Yep.
No. We spray foamed. We used DIY foam at green.
That's right. We put those
closed cell foam.
Yep.
And that was a great thing. Not a lot of people do it, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to do your bus anyway.
It's a costlier option for sure.
It did cost more. I think it was $2,000 or $1,600 maybe for the whole bus. But we did the floor, the side, the wall cavities, the ceiling, and everything. And
versus what, maybe $800 if you use foam board?
Foam board, yeah, is what we came up with. So our house was spray foamed previously after the fire, and it was a fucking suction tight airlocked house.
Yeah, they had to put vents out so that way
air circulation
windows in it break.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like that lung at the Biosphere in Tucson.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
It had
Biosphere
this,
too?
you say, okay, so there's like this huge lung, like room. And like I was wearing a dress.
Diaphragm. They call it the lung, though.
Yeah, and so when you walk in the door, it's like a Marilyn Monroe. Like your dress like flies up as you're walking through. There's so much air movement, but they have this huge lung like to decompress the air so that way all the windows don't explode, because they had to lock this biodome down back in the 90s, like the actual biodome for scientists to live in it. They actually failed. They
It's a
actually
great
almost
Pauly Shore
died.
movie, too.
In real life, though, they almost died. And I don't know if you know this, there's actually a really cool staircase where the scientists lived.
That's right.
And it goes up to this beautiful bell tower library that they never got to use because they were so weak from not getting to eat.
And not enough oxygen, too, I believe.
Yeah, they couldn't grow enough food or whatever. And so, like, so they couldn't even make it to the library. Like, they couldn't even use the steps. It was amazing. It was, like, crazy.
Yeah.
But now
so
they
never
use it
used
to, like, figure out ways to grow shit on Mars, which is really cool.
Yeah, they had some little modules.
Like hydroponics, basically, is what it was.
Yep,
It was
little drip
hydroponics.
tubes.
They had a little aquaponics thing that some like local high school was doing in the coastal room. But it was beautiful. It was really, if you guys ever get to Tucson, Arizona, last year we went to the Biosphere. Do it on Groupon though, because it's really expensive, or do a military discount or something. But Groupon has some really good deals on that. Really educational for the kiddos and such. And we got to go with Sam too. Sam came with us.
Fifth Wheel Phil, yeah, that's right.
He recorded it, did a little review with us. You can check it out on YouTube from that adventure. But yeah, so I guess
You were talking about the bus?
Yeah, what was next on there? We did the spray foam, and then we were going to hang a ladder. We hung a ladder on the back, an RV ladder, and we took it down. And we actually never used it because we decided to build the deck out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was kind of cool. We weren't really even going to do the deck. We weren't even sure we were going to do that. And then
we actually came up with that. Me and Jim, we bought a 30-pack and start a piece, I want to say, and started drinking at his table. And his table was like awesome. It's the coolest, honest dinner table I've ever sat at before.
It was like a king's table.
I don't know. It's like I'm making numbers here, but like 4 inches thick.
Yeah.
It was. How long do you think that table was?
Like 10 feet? No.
10, 12?
8 feet?
No, it was like 10, 12 feet.
Cool.
It was awesome. Huge. And we just sat on opposite ends staring at each other and just started, drinking beer, doodling little doodles, and trying to come up with ideas.
Chitty Bang was a drunk bus idea / like we did a lot of stuff drinking beer on this bus.
Yeah.
But just
a lot of Copenhagen.
Creative.
A lot of Miller.
Juices.
Light. And yeah.
But so Ryan wanted to do it like 6 feet, and then our buddy Logan came. He's like an auto body guy, and he's like, look, that's a lot.
You can't do that.
Of length. Yeah, well, we're already 40 feet. So, I mean, that's a lot of length. And when you're turning, you're like going to take shit out. And so we were like 3 feet, and Saran's like 3.5 feet. So we did it 3.5 feet.
It's just like being a rebel, guys.
And we used that channel iron, and we stuck it into the channel iron chassis of the bus. We welded it. We bolted it with, what is this, Class 9 bolts
Class 9 bolts, yeah.
And that shit's still there. The welds haven't, like, cracked or anything. I mean, it rides
tried a
really
wood
well.
deck at first, and then we decided on metal.
Yeah, and the metal, we should have welded it down more.
Maybe.
Because it kind of, like, doesn't sit right, like pops up and down when you step on it. That's just, I think, from heat contraction.
Yeah, because I tried to do one long line, so it ended up warping the metal.
Yeah, we were still
learning. Fun fact on welding, guys.
Yeah.
Do it in sections.
Section welding.
Section weld it off. Otherwise, if you try to do one long continuous seam, you'll heat that metal up and I guess distort it. That's the word. Yeah.
I think
becomes cattywampus.
That's a good use of words.
You like my word choice?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, I mean, we actually, I'm trying to think of what else.
So, but what did you want out of this bus, Morgan? What was the ideal dream house for you?
Oh,
when
you know
were
what?
Do this?
The main thing, I wanted it to be self-sustainable.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be off-grid. I wanted to be able to just pull up somewhere and park and, like, be able to live, have energy and water, without. And so we actually went with these huge water tanks. At first, we went with 2 100-gallon water tanks.
And only used one of them.
Yep, we weren't sure like how often you would find water on the road, and we kind of found out that
you find more water than you think. Yeah,
you do.
You remember when we took a shower in the Walmart parking lot?
Oh my God, yeah. The Walmart Garden Center was letting us use their hose, so It had been like 2 days since we took a shower because we didn't want to waste the water.
Our, I guess we forgot to connect in our water tank. Oops. And yeah, so we all started, since we were filling up the water tank, we're like, hey, you know what? Let's all take a shower. So we're right in front of a Walmart. Did not know that I guess it was like the one section we didn't, cement glued down
We didn't.
into our water tank, and it popped off on our first little adventure. So we're in front of Walmart. Everyone's in the house, and we're filling up the water tank and taking a shower, and water's just pouring
Dumping
out
it on
everywhere, just everywhere.
So
And it's just
embarrassing.
water. It's all it is. If you wash your car, you don't pick up your water either. So,
It's just kind of embarrassing.
but yeah, we didn't know. So when we came out, there was just water everywhere. So I look at the guy and I said, "Man, where'd this water come from?" His eyes were big. He was like, "That all came from you guys."
I'm like, what? We might have a leak. We'll have to check that.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Who did that?
Who did that?
So that's kind of the reasons behind every decision that we built. And the bus was built we wanted to find a homestead so we could pull up somewhere and park and just use it. So we found water was easy to get to. We know now.
Yeah, water. You guys can find water everywhere, and there's apps too. That'll tell you what's at different rest stops.
Yep.
I just can't think of the name of one
Trucker's
right now.
Path,
But
maybe.
does that tell you if they have water?
I don't know. Freecampsites.net does. They usually tell you, like, hey, there's a faucet there or something,
Okay.
So we were at a rest area that was like 99% potable water, so we just used it to, like, wash the clothes. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
We needed to wash the clothes, so we
Yep.
just did it over there by the storm
With your little
drain.
hand crank washer.
Yeah, the Wonder Wash. It's great, like, for traveling. It's great for, like, quick mini loads. We totally used it because we were at a rest stop and we needed to wash our clothes in the middle of traveling.
I heard this fun little doozy. Actually, when you're RVing, or maybe you're just on the road. Who knows? I don't know your life circumstances. But you take a Rubbermaid little tub and whatever you want to wash, just say a shirt, okay? You throw it in there, put some golf balls in there, put a little bit of soap, water, and as you're
Agitator.
driving down the road, just the bebopping of the road just starts agitating it.
That's
and
awesome.
then when you get to where you need to get to, wring it out, get the soap out of it, boom, you have a wash.
Dang,
set
we
of
should have
clothes.
done that when we were traveling, man.
Yeah, little
That
fun
would've been
fact, little FF for you.
But yeah, so we did that though. Like solar, we can literally be anywhere. We have the propane furnace we can do off grid. So we're propane powered with our oven too. Now, if we're plugged in, I'll use my toaster oven. I'll use the AC heater / the rooftop one instead of the propane. So there's different ways we can save money. Like I know if we're just on propane, like one of those tanks with the furnace going, the fridge being ran on propane too. It's like a 3-way fridge. All that runs on propane. So we just refilled 2 tanks. We carry 4 just regular barbecue size tanks because we're like, those are the easiest to take off the bus and get them filled somewhere. Think about that too, guys. I do not want to have to drive my bus somewhere just to fill up my propane tank. That would be a pain in the ass. So that's kind of why we did the individual tanks. So we did, and those are actually on the deck in a propane cage. And
Yep.
you can check out our Chitty Bang tour on my YouTube page. It'll be in the episode link below. But yeah, so we have it all. So 2 tanks last us about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If we're using
If
the
we're
stove,
using the furnace, yeah, it's
the
about a week and a half.
furnace, the fridge, and we have kids, so we're taking hot water showers with our propane hot water heater. Another great fact, especially if you're in a sunny place, leave your hose out in the sun and take your shower during the day. That shit will get so hot.
Yeah.
This summer in Arizona, it got so hot. But it was great because we didn't even have to turn the
It was a
hot
great
water
solar
heater
water
on.
heater, yeah.
And we
Just
actually
the
went
hose.
into it. We wanted to do a solar water heater on top of the bus. And then we were like, you know what? When we actually got into the bus, we had all these grand ideas. And it was like the weight of water, just all the extra stuff to add. I think if we were homesteading, though, we would totally do a solar water heater.
Oh, absolutely.
It'd be
It's
stupid
a
not
lot
to.
easier than I ever thought it was. I mean, it was
Yes,
as
just
simple
literally
as a
leaving your
hose
hose
on
out.
the ground. And the longer that hose is, the more water,
Yes.
hot water that you have.
And we have a lot of
Absolutely.
hose because we have a lot of filters. So we actually have like 2 50-foot hoses, like just kind of balled up outside. And yeah, so you could literally get through a whole shower. And it took us about 3 days to get through 100 gallons of water. And that's like, I think we each took 1 shower in that 3-day period. We drank, washed, and we washed a lot of hands. We washed a lot of dishes. But 100 gallons is what we went through as a family of 4 and a dog in 3 days. Not many people can say they know what. And that was my main question building the bus. I was like, how much do you need?
Yeah.
And
how
so,
much do you use?
guess what the answer is? You don't know until you're living in it, and because you don't know what you even like. What kind of situation are you going to want a boondock? We did, and then we found ourselves actually enjoying the RV parks this year.
Yeah.
So it's going to change, and so we went into the bus knowing that, and made it so we could be on off grid, on grid, whatever, and that worked best for us.
Some of these RVers though are not the healthiest minded people.
Oh God.
Some of them are angry.
You got to think though, some of them are really just doing it because they have to though. They might be in so much debt that that's their only option.
Possibly.
And so you know what? I would.
You know
be
what?
in a
They were
bad
there
mood.
for a long time. Those people.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing too. You got to remember, you're gonna meet a lot of older people RVing. There's not as many families as you would think out there. We haven't really met many.
It's not very many family-friendly RV parks.
That's true. And if anybody listening is thinking about getting some land and putting some RV spots on it to make a little extra money, you should do it.
Smart
because
idea.
People under 55 that are RVing and people with families find it very, very hard to find RV spots because you got adult only, 55 and up, people that don't want kids, and we've actually stayed at every one of those parks, but I've emailed also in advance, so to make sure it was okay. But I don't like doing that. I should just be able to come in with my bus and pay for services. I'm a good person. I'm not going to, take advantage of anybody. I'm not trashy. I'm going to respect their property like mine. But I also have that idea in my head too that not everybody's like that. And
Sure.
that kind of puts a bad stigma on tiny house people.
Sure, absolutely.
Hopefully more people will get more more people would be accepting of schoolies and tiny houses and stuff. I think that would really help the community. So all you guys be on your best behavior. It only helps the movement.
It's true.
It really does. But Ryan, so for you though, when you were building, he actually learned how to do some amazing woodworking. One of the guys we forgot to mention, Jake.
Yeah, Jake Willoughby.
CR Allsip Guitars.
Yep. He built a guitar for
Phil
Collins of Def Leppard. Yeah.
He had this amazing woodworking shop in his garage. And, had CNC machine. There was a planer, sander, that huge, dust collector thing. And him and a few of our friends were over there, and we'd be over there drinking
beers. Over there, it was Coors.
Yeah,
Yep.
and, watching them make guitars, painting, helping them do some stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Helped them build their paint booth.
Yeah, that's right. And it was just, they were giving us so much information. So Jake taught Ryan a lot of stuff about joining. And
finer woodworking.
Yeah, and it was really, really cool, really neat experience. And, it kind of sucks because we thought it was only going to take 3 months. We would end up being there a year and a half. So I know we weren't in the best place to really appreciate what we were learning. I appreciated it, but I knew even doing it then, I was like, I am not really going to appreciate this until this is all over and I can stop being so stressed out about spending money because, with this bus, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, you think you've saved enough.
Yeah.
But you really haven't.
No. The tools, you can only break so many shitty tools before you decide to buy
good tools.
A good fucking tool.
Yeah, have good tools. Spend the money on tools.
What
was it? Aaron Ralston, the guy from 127 Hours. Remember James Franco played him?
Yeah,
Is that his name, Aaron
Ralston?
Ralston?
And he had that little Swiss Army knife thing.
Yeah, one of his things
thing.
in his book was that, just buy, he wished he would have had a good knife.
He cut his arm off, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
He got it stuck. He was out hiking, didn't tell anybody where he was going, had a little baby Swiss Army knife, and got his arm stuck between a boulder and a mountain.
It came out of one of his, a convenience store, one of those little plastic bins. Yeah, and just grabbed one of those knives. That's the one that he used to cut his arm off.
He had to saw through tendons and bones.
It's crazy.
But yeah, he got out, y'all. He got out. And so what did he say? What did he say about having a good tool?
Oh, he was just saying have good tools. So if you're going to build anything, have good tools.
Yeah.
So it just makes your project that much easier.
My husband would always come to me and be like, babe, there's this tool and I really, really, really want it.
Is that how it sounds?
I really, really, really want it. And I'd be like, no, because you're not going to do nothing with it.
No, you would say, well, can you do it without it? Of course,
well,
you can. Where there's a will, there's a way. Just adapt and overcome.
But now that we were doing something that meant something, though, like that was really like needed
So
to be
what I
done
did before didn't mean anything?
We were building like chicken coops and stuff. It wasn't like our family was going to live here. So I was okay with him spending money on
no, because
nice
you saw
tools.
when you buy or spend money on tools, you realize how much easier that job becomes now.
Yeah, because it's so it's like it's so shitty. Like if you don't do that,
Yeah,
it's so shitty. It takes so much longer. It takes like I don't know.
cuts aren't as nice.
So, and our biggest thing when we were when building the bus, yes, we built it together. I was
that's
kicking
feedback
my
in the mic. Yeah,
my bad. So we're in a tiny space. So we're trying not to touch any wires and like cause any issues with any of our sound. But yeah. So shit, I forgot what I was just saying. I can't even remember.
tools.
It was the tools. Oh no, I was actually going to talk about the communication, like tools also being our words and how we communicated with each other. You know, we have actually been through so much, but we communicate a lot. And because with him being a returning veteran, we had to learn to communicate totally differently and figure out where we can all be comfortable and live as a family, because wounds of war are something that all returning combat veterans have to deal with. And so our family had to learn to communicate. Even through all of that and all that change and communicating and all that stuff, we still really sucked at communicating building a bus.
We still suck at communicating now.
I think it's a work in progress. I think we're always working. We have a ghost moving that bag. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so we always were like, you know, yelling at each other because like we're very passionate about this build, but we don't know how to build it. Ryan would spend a lot of time researching like how to do a specific thing, and he's like a little bit of a perfectionist, which is fine because our bus is beautiful. But when I'm out there to help him and I don't know what tool he needs, and he's like, that flimmajabbity, the quadrimodulator.
Hand me the fucking tool.
Yeah.
That fucking thing right there.
And the spinny thing, you know, whatever it is, like, guys, remember to have patience, you know, with each other, because I would get just as irritated because then he'd start yelling at me because I couldn't read his mind, and then we ended up just having a terrible day, or a tool would break. If it goes downhill, just stop. Take a break.
Take a 5x5. Take 5 steps back.
Yes,
5
I wish
minutes.
we would have taken more breaks. Like
recock, figure it out.
Yes. Yeah, that's something else too, because you're learning so much. You're intaking so much knowledge, you know. And this wasn't a project we did after work. This was something we did every single day.
Literally problem solved.
Every
That's all we
single
did.
day.
We didn't build a bus. We just solved problems.
We solved problems, yeah. And what was nice too, though, it's kind of like I feel like I have a little bit of ADD because I'm all over the place. If y'all haven't noticed yet, but I'm just like, if we got sick of metal work, we could jump into woodwork or plumbing.
That was fun.
Or painting or doing something different. And so we were always able to...
We did woodwork. If we got tired of that, paint, weld, electrical, and there was plumbing to be done.
Yes.
Yep. Outside work, inside work.
And we met a lot of really cool people at the hardware stores.
Yeah, we saw them every day.
Ace Hardware. Yeah, I mean, it was every day. We knew him by first name. Remember Andy? Remember what his response was when we'd be like, hey, Andy, how are you? I couldn't be better if there were two of me.
I couldn't be better if there were two of me.
I loved that, and I think I've used it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, I've used it for sure.
And that was really cool. He reminded me, he looked just like the dude on Parks and Rec.
Oh, what's his
Ron
name?
Swanson.
Ron Swanson.
I love him. He's like
his
my
attitude
favorite
was
character.
like Ron Swanson too.
His voice too. He actually made leather wallets and like knife holders and stuff. And he saw me in Walmart. I was open carrying there in Big Spring, and I had my holster, and he's like, oh, hey, I actually make gun holsters. And I was like, hey, Andy from whoever, True Value or whatever. It was cool. And I was like, man, that's neat, you know. And he was like, that's awesome. Like, I make these. And I'm like, yeah, you would, because you look like that guy.
He did. He was a handy guy.
He was a really cool dude.
So,
anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to, like...
So what else did you want to get into today?
I don't know, just mostly about the bus. I'm trying to think, like, I figured we probably wouldn't do it all in one episode because there's kind of a lot, and depending on the mood that we're in is what we're going to talk about.
Okay. What kind of mood are you in? What do you want to talk about?
So actually, okay, so remember we were talking about, I think we had got into talking about, like, that caravan that was coming in to California.
Okay.
Okay, and some lady had said, she said it was something super insightful.
Something to do with locked doors.
Okay, yeah, she said something like, "Why do you lock the doors on your house?"
She asked another person, yeah, do you lock the doors to your home?
Oh yeah, and the lady's
She
like,
said,
"Yeah, of course I do." And she goes, "Okay, well, it's because why? It's not because you hate the people outside of your home. It's because you want to protect the people inside of your home because
Sure.
you don't know the people outside." And that made a lot of sense. And then thinking about the borders and stuff in America, look, I don't have a solution to this, but I'm just like, what she said is so true. Like, we do need to know who is coming into our country, not because we hate them.
I don't think we should be separating families, though.
No.
I try to put myself in that
Oh,
type
hell
of
no.
mindset.
I don't think we
and
should.
I don't want to be separated from my kids. I don't want my kids taken from me. I don't think separating families is the answer.
No.
But I also don't think you should start your journey trying to force your way into another country illegally either.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. That's not the American way. And
Sure.
you're kind of showing us that if you're showing us you don't even want to work with our laws, which, I mean, we don't know yet because they haven't made it to the border yet. We don't know what they're going to do. So
there's a lot of people that are, military-age men looking. And
I know. I've seen more men than I've seen women
hey,
and
man,
children.
why don't you stay at your place and make sure you fix that? Because if this place starts to go down, I just realized you're going to pick up your stuff and take off again instead of actually fighting for that country. So
yeah, you could actually fight. Like the story Ryan was told about his grandfather, right?
Yeah, I'm only a second-generation American. My grandfather came here illegally and from Mexico, and earned his citizenship through fighting in World War II.
The Navy, right?
So, yeah, that was the story I was told. So,
yeah, exactly. And,
so I get that.
Why not do that then?
We have a guy that I went to Iraq with, and he earned his citizenship in Iraq.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
So you're saying that you're at the age where you could do that, and you're fleeing from your country because you don't want to stand up and fight there. So come into this country and show us you want to be a part of those values, because we are all civilized people.
Sure.
We all love our family and we love each other. We want the best for everybody. And I agree. We love this melting pot of America. This not melting, but mixing pot.
People forget that. This isn't just because you're an American. It doesn't mean white.
You're not white. You're everything.
From everywhere.
Everybody comes here because everybody's so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like we forget that. And like, yes, we are humans, but we also have to protect what's ours too.
Absolutely.
I want all the kids in the world to be fed. My mother told me whenever I didn't finish my fucking food at night, like, there's starving kids in Africa. I, for one, know the struggles. Okay, like
the mother's
I want the kids everywhere to eat, and I want all the families to be together. I want everybody to live in America, but they can't, but have pride for our country if you're going to be here.
Absolutely.
Show us, wave the American flag walking in your caravan. Show us that you want to be a part of America. Don't do other stuff and like throw rocks and be violent. It's scary. Like, we're sitting here watching this. And again, depends on what you're watching, what you're reading too. I get that.
That's a big
and like
thing,
I said,
wherever you get your news source from.
Yeah. So I can't say that I don't think everybody's violent. I don't. Sure. But here's the thing. How do you know? So you're just saying open borders. Let's let everybody come in and we'll figure that shit out later? No, because when I'm born, I'm given a number. When my baby is born, she's given a social security number. She's given all the documentation. The same should go for every single citizen. There's no special treatment. It is what it is, right? That's it is. It is. You fought. We sacrificed you for a year and a half. You possibly dying. Why can't other people make that sacrifice if they want those same freedoms? I don't understand it. And maybe it's because I am not a regular civilian though either. I was not in the Army, but I was married to it. And I see the struggles that families face. I see these veterans coming back and having to deal with a country that may not agree with everything that they do, but even though it's the same country that put them in that situation to think that way, okay, whatever. But there has to be a solution somewhere. I would hate to be a politician.
Yeah, and
right
I'm
now.
glad I'm not a politician because, again, you shouldn't set off and then expect something from a different country trying to get into another one. But I don't think taking families, ripping them apart, is the solution, and
we
then
can't
sending
put them in
separately.
internment camps, though, either. We can't be. Can we? I mean, is everybody okay with them going into these internment camp-looking things like we did in World War II with Japanese Americans?
I don't know.
Our own citizens?
Yeah, it's. What do you do?
You got
That's
little
what I'm
baby
saying.
jails?
What do you do? It's not right that
But we can't.
there's such a large mass of people
Now,
coming.
right.
So what do you? I mean, you have to.
You don't want
stick them
people to get
somewhere.
raped.
You're talking about having numbers. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
make sure once
Everybody's
you do
in
take control of them,
process.
though, you're now in charge of their safety.
And that's something, too, maybe in as far as, like, even with government in general, it's a hurry up and wait game. It's in processing. There's a lot of paperwork. I sat at billeting when we first got to Alaska with you for, like, 3 days,
Yeah,
I think.
forever.
Like, while he was doing all these briefings, all this paperwork, having accountability of where he was with all these people, what unit he was attached with, that's everywhere. That's your company. You still got to do in-processing with your corporate company. So
Sure.
So you're coming into a country, and you don't think that you need to have something?
Yeah.
Like...
That's actually a pretty good point when you talk about corporations, because it brings it to now a smaller group of individuals.
even at the smallest scale.
Yeah, you just can't walk into whatever company and then just start doing whatever you want to do. No,
You
you
have
have to
to-
sign in at the front desk. You have to
Yes.
get a little badge just to let you know, hey, I'm a visitor. My name's
Well, even just
Ryan,
working there, you
whatever.
got to do all the
And-
paperwork.
yeah, but I'm saying even if you're just visiting.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
So, but when
hey,
you
this
are
is
working
me.
there, like you're wanting to be a part of that company, you're absolutely right. I never thought of it like that. That's actually a very, very good point.
Thanks. You
Yeah.
gotta get. You do have to.
There needs to be accountability somehow.
Yes.
I don't have the answer.
I don't either.
But I don't think everyone fighting about it, or some people saying, don't let them in, let them in, separate the kids, don't separate the kids. There's got to be something better. And again, I'm just glad I'm not a politician. I'm glad I don't have to sign my name to anything that they're going to create, because I guarantee it's going to be garbage, whatever it is.
No,
Nobody
I
is going to
agree.
be happy with it on either side of that aisle.
No, you know what? And it doesn't help that people are just parroting the same shit from everybody, like that they hear on the news.
Sure.
And they have
Absolutely.
no
And depending on
idea.
what news organization you listen to is how you're going to feel on it. I read my news. I don't watch the news. I'm not going to have somebody tell me what it is. I like using Drudge Report because they'll have something from CNN. They'll have something from Fox News. They'll have something from, the UK. They have something from Al Jazeera. They have all kinds. I know they call it, I think, conservative news
Yeah.
organization, but they literally have, and they have all of their references underneath the articles. So
Yeah, so you can do your own research. And
Yeah,
that's
I
the
like
thing,
that.
too. Like, we always encourage people to do their own research with stuff. You can't just take
yeah,
it
don't
from
listen to anything
anybody.
we say. Do your own research.
Yeah, we are not professionals. We are jack of all trades,
Master of none.
masters of none.
Yeah. So, but what would your solution be?
God,
If
I
you
don't
had to
even
give
know.
one right now, whatever it is, it's going to be horrible.
Well, I mean, I know. In my head, like, everybody loves
Whatever idea I
everybody.
come up with would be horrible.
So,
Because it's going to affect somebody.
and they don't have
somewhere
any
down the line.
identification, right? Like, Honduras doesn't require people to have IDs. Like, how does that
Oh,
work?
I don't know. Remember, Robert, he found some ID when he was backpacking in Big Bend.
Oh, that's right.
So,
I don't know.
They start off with IDs,
So, I don't know. Like,
sounds like.
it seems like, okay, I don't want them in, like, baby jails or, like, internment camps, but at the same time, like, they would at least get fed and clothed and have a place to stay, because otherwise, where are they going to house these people? And
So you're saying at least maybe just like a chained off area?
yeah, but then it looks like a jail, so I can't, like,
Or
but
in
if we put them
elementary
in
school, they have chain link fences around
you know what?
schools.
Yeah, there you okay.
I
Hey,
didn't say
great
barbed
point.
wire facing in.
That's true. Great point. Yeah.
Prisons have
but
barbed
they
wire
can't
facing
leave,
in.
like, because they need to be accounted for. We
Sure.
can't just trust them. Like, I mean, I don't know how many stories come out of these people. Like, there's like an illegal that raped some girl and got released and then killed 3 people.
And that's just the worst of the worst news.
I know
Because
it is.
again, there's people that have came in and haven't raped anybody. They're
I
not
know.
Weinsteining
They serve their
anybody.
country, right?
They serve their country,
yes.
absolutely.
There's always extremes on both
And that's
sides.
what sucks, because you will get those negative news outlets, that come out.
Right.
Oh, well, this guy did this, and it was awful. Sure.
But what do? We say, do you promise to stay in this house and while we do your paperwork and we'll take care of you here?
Obviously not.
So now our tax dollars go to taking care of people.
I don't care if you're an American citizen or not.
We can't even take care of our soldiers coming home from war, but we're going to try to take care of these other people that need, like, probably immunizations. Like, I don't know a ton about immunization shots. I know that we
in the
are
military,
no
they just
longer...
line you up. You walk through doctors or nurses, whatever these people are, and they just start shooting you on both sides and tell you to bend over and shoot you in the ass with something. And
because you gave up your freedoms of being really like your own thinker.
Oh, you definitely give up your freedoms.
You're now
when you
a soldier.
The military.
So here's the thing, right? I don't really know if I believe in immunizations. Like, our girls got them, but I don't. But there are so many studies that show that, like, ADD, all this stuff.
Sure.
So it's like, do we force? Okay, if you're going to come in here, like, here's the thing, right? We're a clean country. We don't have a ton of diseases. We have small occurrences of, like,
decent infrastructure. Not great, but it is decent.
But we have small occurrences of these weird things.
Shout out to Flint, Michigan.
Yeah. You know, and it's in spaces where there's a large population of people who aren't legal citizens. And you got, like, the measles, right?
Sure.
Started over there.
Sure.
What's going on, you know? So what do we do? So we have to, do we test all these people? They get physicals, they get evaluated. This is all costs money.
That's expensive, yeah.
This all costs money.
Honestly, it's probably less expensive just to give everyone shots. But who knows if they had that shot before, and what happens if you give them 2 of one shot?
I doubt I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. They're not traveling with their shot records. You know, they're like it's a totally different culture.
See what I mean?
It's
what is
totally
the answer for
different.
This?
I don't have one.
I don't either. I don't have a good... I mean, I would definitely say that you
but
need to have them in
in
one location. I'm all about a chain link fence.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be any barbed wire on this stuff.
But you can't leave.
You can at least have people guarding that, for sure.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of soldiers that are still just twiddling their thumbs waiting to do something.
To happen. Yeah.
I was in the military. I don't know how many video games I played when we could have been training. We could have been doing something way cool, so... Yeah,
that's true.
There's definitely some people out there that are just twiddling their thumbs like, wish I had something to do today, you know? But, I mean, I would say you at least have to process people. You have to know who's coming into your house.
You do. But how do you organize
You do
that?
offer humane treatment.
Oh, sure.
You know?
And there's always going to be those stories, just like in Katrina there was, just like everywhere. There's always those stories. Somebody's going to get raped or somebody's going to get assaulted or...
Sure.
These things always happen. But people, you know what it is? It's not really people, it's the news. They amplify so much of, like, that negative shit.
Sure, it's on 24 hours. And you have a left side, you have a right side.
You know, something I liked about being in the Redwoods, we didn't have any internet for 3 months.
Yeah, that was nice.
And, like, we really just... separated from the world up there. It was really peaceful.
Yeah, it was.
Living with the giants.
Those things were so large.
They really were. Dude, so, you know, there was like this thing, I guess the natives up there, the Yurok Indians, I guess.
I believe it was the Yurok tribe.
They would never go in the woods, in the redwoods, because they were like, too many spirits, they said. They do now. I think
they say they have a
now.
lot of Bigfoot sightings. They, meaning people who live in, redwood country. There's, Bigfoot signs, Bigfoot books, maps, everything.
Dude, Layla was freaked out about finding Bigfoot one day. I was like, look, we don't know. Because let me tell you what, I grew up in the swamps, near the swamps in Louisiana. We used to fish at Honey Island Swamp. And I could swear sometimes that I would see a big hairy man out there in the swamps. It could have been Boudreaux or Thibodeau.
Bubba. Yeah, that's exactly who that was.
It could have been Boudreaux or Thibodeau.
Absolutely. But yeah, honestly, I don't think there is a good solution to this. I don't believe anybody has the everyone's going to be happy with this solution.
I don't think so either.
I mean, all we can really do is, I guess as citizens of this country, is just start voicing our opinions and stop fighting about it and start collaborating about what to do. You know, if you don't like a fenced-off area, cool. What's your alternative to a fenced-off area? If you don't like them getting shots, what's your alternative to make sure that they don't have any diseases?
I just want everybody to remember and keep that question. How are we protecting America? How do we protect everybody we love in this country?
Yeah, because if something happens to us, then we're not able to help anybody anymore.
Right. We were super open and everything else. You know, we easily gave up our
We're
liberties.
all immigrants here.
Yes, we are.
Even the natives are.
Everybody.
Yeah, because there was nothing here at one point.
Yeah, at one point there was nothing here.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Everybody easily gave up their rights to, like, not be body scanned at airports or physically touched.
Ridiculous.
We gave up those rights just to fucking fly on an airplane. I have not flown in years, by the way. I just refuse to. Europe doesn't even allow these body scanners over there. We are so easily like, take this liberty so I can feel a little bit safer. Take this freedom so I can feel a little bit safer. We haven't really thwarted that many bombs. We haven't.
No.
None.
No, I think
I haven't read the statistics.
There's actually an
lately.
article. I don't know. I don't have it off the top of my head, but somebody's going to have to find that's listening to this. But I want to say it was like 98% they don't catch TSA.
But there's that 2%. And it's like, dude, basic airport security could have caught that. You didn't have to have a fucking body scanner or like grope grandma. Okay, you didn't have to do that or put these 10-year-old kids on no-fly list.
Sure.
I know the government's fucked up. It's not perfect.
You know, hold on. You're talking about the no-fly list, okay?
Yeah.
So I've heard, people say that if you're on the no-fly list, then you should not be able to get a firearm. But if you really look into that no-fly list, yeah, like you said, there's children on this no-fly list.
I get it. Kids are bad. But nobody should
There's
be
a lot
on
of badass kids.
Nobody should be on a no-fly list.
There's no kid that's trying to do something crazy like that.
And first off, they're not even an adult, so they can't even buy a fucking gun anyways.
Yeah.
So why does it even matter?
No, I'm just saying that's how big that's how ridiculous that list is. How do you even get on this thing? What's the criteria to be met for this? And if you do make that the criteria to where you can't get a firearm, don't you think a lot of people are all of a sudden going to end up on a no-fly list?
That's an easy way. What an easy way to do that,
What an easy way. You know, a lot of people in America, they want to take somebody's rights away from them, whether it be abortion, marijuana. You can't distill your own alcohol. Yeah, in this country. You can't.
It's always somebody else telling you.
They want to take gun rights. They want to tell you what you can and can't say.
While they're doing their own thing. Like, what is what I'm doing affecting you?
What happened to just being free? You do what you do, whatever you do, as long as it doesn't affect me, hey, you get to do whatever you want to do. But as soon as whatever you're doing affects somebody else, that's where that line is drawn. That's where your freedom stops, and it meets with somebody else's, and you have to come to a compromise. But I don't believe that we should ban abortions. I don't believe you should not be able to smoke marijuana. I don't believe you should take somebody's firearms. Now, there are some people, there's no doubt about it, but we already have these checks and balances in place to where maybe you say something real crazy in your psychologist's office. I'm going to kill this person, that son of a bitch. I want to say they have an obligation, if you directly threaten somebody's life or yourself, yeah, absolutely. We have these things in place. Whether they're following or not, I don't know. Maybe they need to be retrained. Whoever is not, handling the guidelines the way they're supposed to be handled.
Right.
But we have to get out of this.
It can't be a broad stroke.
We have to take someone's rights so I feel safe on any side of that aisle because I believe women should be able to get abortions. Absolutely.
Their choice.
I don't believe they should be government funded.
No late-term abortions, obviously. Like, you have a certain
time. But that is such a small late-term abortions. They're so small in the whole grand scheme of most people that are the majority that are getting abortions.
No, they're early. They're early because we're fucking not animals. And it's like it's like we need the government to tell us.
No, we don't
to
need
control us. Like it's like people do, but they do. Like a majority of civilization, they're like, please tell me what to do because I might shoot black tar heroin in my arm if it's not illegal. Oh my God! As soon as it goes legal, I'm gonna snort 10 pounds of cocaine up my nose. You know? No, I'm not going to fucking do that because I'm a human being. I have family. Like, if Joe wants to go snort 10 pounds of cocaine up his nose, go. But don't do karate in my fucking yard.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, go do it in your garage. Go stay at your house and do what you want to do. But don't sell it to my kids. Don't let my kids see you. Yeah. Like, do what you want to do, though.
But I don't think anybody's out there, that if they legalize, let's say you were talking about cocaine.
They
legalize cocaine. I don't think anybody's, really going out there or there's a mass group of people that are like, I'm going to just start selling cocaine to kids now.
No.
That is such a straw man theory.
The straw man, around Halloween, they were like, oh my God, well, marijuana's legal in this state, so kids are going to get marijuana candies. Motherfucker, have you ever bought marijuana candy? Do you know how much that shit costs? Do you know a $20 gummy bear is going to, you think that's going to go to a little fucking kid? No,
Nope.
it's not.
But
Don't
do
be
you know
stupid.
that in, I think, Ohio, there was an it was methamphetamine.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a
On
kid
like the vampire teeth.
I don't know what it was in, but
yeah, they think it was the vampire teeth. He like started going into seizures. Yeah, dude, be scared about that.
But it is illegal though already. That one is already
Wait a second,
illegal,
what?
and it can still happen.
It's
so,
illegal and it can still wait. So California,
guys, freedom
that guy,
is supposed to be dangerous.
That
it's
shot?
not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be soft. It's not supposed to be cuddly. It's supposed to be dangerous.
Yeah, it is though. It really, and you know, here's
No,
the
it really
thing.
is.
And the people that don't stop and think, don't get mad, but stop and think about this. If you don't understand that thin veneer of society and how quick,
you're using my line.
Yes, Ryan tells me all the time how awful it was, like just how fast people would get so ugly when he was deployed, and just how fast shit would go down because of small things. People don't understand that we're all civil right now on the surface.
Yeah.
It takes one thing, Katrina, 3 days.
We're fucking
Hurricane
animals.
Katrina, 3 days.
Animals.
To go fucking ape shit.
Animals.
Dude,
all
we
of us.
lose our crap.
Yes, you person thinking, not me.
I'm
yep,
not like
you're the
that.
one I'm talking to. You're a fucking animal.
Yes, in your
and
own
you know
sense.
you are. Because guess what? There was one night you got drunk. I know it. And you just ended up climbing the pole screaming just fucking the most
Crazy
obscene,
shit.
whatever ridiculous thing. And the next day you hid your head in shame.
Or you got naked and ran around. Last year in Casa Grande on Facebook
Did you do that?
Marketplace. No. This guy posted, it was like under like for shit for sale, but he was like, it was an apology. It was like, I'm sorry
Oh my God, that's right.
for the problems I caused last night. I never drank that much before in my life. I'm sorry to whoever I took their mailbox. And I'm sorry that I crashed my car into your fence and I made it home safe and I woke up feeling really bad about stuff and I just want to apologize to everybody in the city. Like,
You know that animal right there, that person, that human being.
He just had to say
He just had to have a
sorry.
blanket apology. He knew he Frank the Tank that shit all
We're
night
going
long. Yeah,
streaking!
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we are all animals. Society is a thin veneer of society. It is so small, so tiny. We all want to be kind. We all want to be caring, and we should.
Yeah. Share the love.
But let something not go your way and just watch. Boom, the emotional intelligence leave our society. Just watch it.
Yeah.
It'll happen. It happens to other countries. It can happen here. I'm not saying it will happen here, but I'm saying
But
it can. So how do we even get on this?
Oh, I don't know. We just kind of. This is what this podcast is about. It's
Yeah.
about us rambling and talking shit. Because
Yeah, but
you
there
know,
was a point to this.
well, it was just that people are going to be animals. Like, and you have to remember that only you are responsible for you.
For you.
Just you.
Yep.
Only you. Nobody cares about you except for you. I love everybody.
What about the shooting that took place in California?
That's actually what I was going to say, is that aren't guns like hard to get in California supposedly?
We were told in Klamath, I don't live in California, so you can write us and correct me, but I want to say it was in 2018, there was a new law that we were told was enacted, and it was to where you could only get 1 box of ammunition per month. Again, have no clue. That might be fake news. For all I know, I might be spreading it.
So if you like
But
to shoot
somebody
guns,
came in and told us that they were mad because that was going in.
yeah, I remember that. There was a tax for everything there too. We bought some wood from California
lumber tax.
at Home Depot. There was a lumber tax. Then there was,
There was
a
a
bottle.
labor tax?
Yeah,
Remember that?
15% or 15. I don't know what it was. And then there was a labor tax.
Yeah,
or then there was
5-cent
a bottle tax for any
Yep.
bottles that you sold. It was crazy.
But yeah, so guns, I know that it's not a they don't have to issue a conceal permit. So
Yeah, well, I mean, they can just clog that shit up in the government work somewhere. They don't have to issue. But again, it's illegal. It's hard to get, but you're telling me someone still found it.
sure,
Guess what?
absolutely,
Marijuana is illegal in a lot of places, and people are still finding it.
it's a fact.
Prohibition. Let's look back, and people, please know your history, because we are doomed to repeat it if we don't.
Sure.
Prohibition taught us, right, whenever alcohol was banned, that People are still going to do what the fuck they want to do because we are animals.
Just creating
and we want to make
outlaws.
money. Yeah. And we want to do what we want to do because America's about that, right? We're going to do that.
Chicago has really strict gun laws too.
And they have a really terrible crime rate.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So now you're telling me if I lived in Chicago in this awful, scary place that I might get mugged, I couldn't defend myself with
I
carrying
don't think
it open
Chicago's
on.
awful. Here it's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, but I hear of a lot of terrible crime statistics coming out of there too. So you're telling me though I couldn't open carry a gun to protect myself because let me tell you what.
If it was open carry though, you wouldn't be having that.
When I open carry in Texas, not one fucking person comes and talks to me or looks at me. They think I'm an off-duty detective.
Yeah, they don't check you out.
Okay, and I don't brag about how I look or anything. I could be
You look pretty
fucking
great.
butt ugly, but I'm gonna tell you what. Old men love to come and talk to me. I had my toe sucked at a Walmart gas station. For real. I was 17 years old. 17. Ryan and I just started dating, and some dude at a gas station hid behind my car.
In BDUs, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had like no tape or anything on him, so I didn't know at the time though. I think he was just like pretending. But he like was on his knees.
Stolen valor.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was stolen valor.
He grabbed my foot and started sucking my toe. And I'm a girl that kicks dudes in the balls. Like I had a big bully growing up and I would kick him in the balls every day. I am not ashamed to put hands on people if I have to defend myself. But I was fucking frozen in fear. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. I think my brain just couldn't process it. I got toe raped. And so yeah, like that totally happens. But guess what? When I open carry or conceal carry, no one's sucking my toes.
You know, I think it was the first gun show that I ever went to. And I used to think gun shows were scary places, you know, because you just hear such negative publicity of them. But when you go into a gun show, if you bring a firearm, there's a police officer. You have to clear your weapon. You have to show them you have no ammo. And then they put a zip tie through it. Again, zip ties are easy to break, but it's just a little extra safety precaution. Well, I bought what was it? Baby Desert Eagle. That's what it was. It was a Baby Desert Eagle.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they had to run a background check on me. That person did a background check. I'm not saying that you can't go to any gun show, but I don't see any problem with, if you are going to get a firearm, to have a background check ran on you.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, we're saying we have to check people before they come into our country.
Sure, you gonna get a gun? Sure,
you know?
Absolutely.
I
don't care. You know what? I put my social security number on these like investment and trading account sites. I put my social security number, in a few different places. So like, yes, it is very private information, but it's also kind of like your blockchain.
Oh, if you're on the
you
internet, your social security number's out there.
It's gone.
That's a fact. It's in the cloud.
Some large
But no, so
Russian
they did a
man.
background check on me, and I have no issues someone running a background check on me. For me personally. Now, there might be people who are saying, that's bullshit. We should just be able to do what we want to do. You're absolutely right. That's why you do 80% receivers. If you don't know about lower 80s, you don't have to do any background check, but you're going to do a little bit of work, though, into it. You can't expect somebody to literally build you something and then sell it to you in a store and there not be any check on you. But you can do a lower 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're AR-15 lower receivers, and you mill out the last 20% of them. They're doing it for Glocks now. Lower80.com is, I've used that website before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. It's Lego for boys or girls if they like building AR-15s.
Oh, I like how you include us all.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I have no problem with these background checks because someone's building this. Someone has their name on it. Someone has their brand on it. Someone has their reputation on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, if you're going to use my product,
then
I'm going to check you
want.
first,
Sure.
So I don't see any problems with that. And if you don't want to have anybody checking in on you, so get a lower 80.
Yeah.
Go be an adult about this and actually build your future. Don't consume your future because there is no background checks on a lower 80.
Somebody that wants to go open...
And how many people are really going to put forth the effort to even do that?
And that's the thing, too, though. If you're going to walk in and want to open fire on a crowd of people, do you think they give a fuck if they got their gun legally or illegally?
Nope.
They don't give a shit. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Committing murder.
They could go get a fucking potato gun and shoot the fuck out of some
Jesus
people.
Christ, could you imagine getting hit in the chest with a potato?
You're hit in the face. I mean, you could drive your car into the goddamn bar and kill all those people. Do you think anybody's going to be like, we need to outlaw cars. We need to have Uber drivers be more safe. You know, or we need to have robotic cars now because we can't be trusted. We need the government to do this for us because we cannot be trusted. No, people, we can be trusted. There are a few crazy fucks out there. Remember, there are always going to be some crazy fucks.
They're always going to be out there.
But there's going to be some really awesome people most of the time.
So the point of my gun show story, let me go back to there. I just remembered. So I bought this baby Desert Eagle. I had to do a background check. I have no issues with that. I have nothing to hide. But, again, if I didn't want to have to go through a background check, I could have just not got it and then built the gun weapon myself. So,
absolutely. You have a choice
but
is the thing.
What I learned at a gun show is that an armed society is a polite society.
So polite.
So polite. Because everybody
nice.
has a pistol, everybody has an AR-15, everybody has something on their person.
Yep.
And there's no rounds in the chambers. There's no magazines even in these weapons or these firearms, these rifles, these pistols. But just having that weapon, it was a very polite experience. There was nobody spouting off, getting on their soapbox. I've never seen anybody lose their mind in them, and I've been to a couple of them. They're fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, how many news stories do you see? That guy at the gun show just went crazy, saw a bazooka, and was like, we gotta shoot it. Bazooka. You know, I mean, come on. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There, you know, and here's the thing. And there can be gun accidents that happen with trainers, people that are professional.
Oh, Jesus. DEA agent. There's one on YouTube. Some cop shoots himself in front of kids.
In the foot, doing a training.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like that one instructor let a little girl.
Training is vital, though.
Yes.
If you are going to get a firearm, get the training.
Do you think you should have to have training if you're going to buy a gun? Do you think you should have to go through a class like hunter safety or something?
I don't think you should have to, but I think as a responsible citizen of this great nation, have a little common sense. If you don't know what you're doing, before I started welding, I went out and talked to welders. I went and talked to people that did this for a living. That way they could teach me, you know, even the proper safety of just welding.
Absolutely. My gun, you see, that's the thing.
Before I use anything, I'll at least read through the manual, you know, just to make sure, hey, how do you use this chop saw? How do you use the circular saw? How do you use this? Or, you know, yeah. I mean, know your safety.
Yes. My dad taught me hunter safety. My dad and mom both taught me the proper use of a weapon when I was very young.
We did the same to our children.
Yeah. I walked around with a BB gun, you know, and so I was like,
I had a Red Ryder.
I did too, and I would shoot. My dad had shot this deer at this deer camp we were at, and I put the brain out on like this piece of plywood, and I was like gonna shoot it. So I started shooting it, and that's, my folks, is when I learned about ricochet. And I don't think it was the BB that hit me, but I think it was a piece of the skull fragment.
Jesus.
And because I didn't kill anything, like, and again, I had a BB gun, but it taught me gun safety. It taught me to be responsible.
She almost lost your fucking eye.
Yeah. You're going to shoot your eye out.
We used to have BB gun wars when I lived in Bakersfield as a kid.
Do that. That's because you were over there.
And see, in
the South, you shot, like, things with your gun, not each other. You know what?
I
don't know.
We were
there
preparing
might be
for war as little
pregnant.
boys, so. But, you know, it was, if old Johnny had the pump action one, hey, you can only pump it 3 times. That's it.
Airsoft.
You can't keep going. You can't keep pumping this up to full blast.
That's the
It'll
rule.
break skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 pumps. That's all you get, asshole.
That's funny. You know, and anything could be really a weapon. My sister totally stabbed me in the eye, upper eye, with a pencil when I was a kid. We were running around the house, I guess.
Is that why you have that lazy eye?
Shut up. It's
kidding.
like a blue dot. It matches the freckle on the other side, but there's a blue dot right underneath my eyebrow. My sister was rounding a corner holding this pencil like a fucking warrior, I guess. And like, we turned corners, bam, and she stabbed me right in the eye, and I got that lead still in there. And like, so I mean, are we going to outlaw pencils?
No, I don't think anybody's calling for that one.
No, but it's silly, right? It's not, to me,
so that's
just as silly.
But we talked about this woman, and, you know, she said, I don't want any more of your prayers. I don't want any more of your thoughts.
Oh, the mom. Yeah.
I want gun regulation, okay? So what is the right amount of gun regulation? Again, I honestly don't think we should be regulating firearms.
No.
I don't think that. I know that is not what the government is there to do.
Nope.
So we as citizens in this country, people that we're trying to allow into this country legally.
Yeah, they need to know these laws, right?
Well, sure, they need to know these laws, but our own citizens even need to know these laws.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you cannot get an abortion.
And then,
it's your body.
And then get a gun.
It's your kid. I truly believe the man loses his right to that kid when he comes. That's
Yeah.
it. Game over, brother.
Absolutely, yeah.
You should have thought about that.
But y'all
If
should have
that
had
woman goes and
conversation.
has an abortion, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't be, kicking it with her anymore. So,
Stop being irresponsible coming in, everybody.
which is,
My
No,
seed
I
must be
agree.
Spread everywhere.
but I'm not going to tell you you can't have an abortion. I'm not going to tell you as a man to tell you what you can do with your body. It's your body.
yeah, sure.
You're going to have to be the one that carries this baby for 9 months. You're going to have to be the one that has to take care of this baby
10
for the
months,
next
actually.
18 years of its life,
Yep.
possibly longer.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, because that dad could.
so
kid or
what is a
could not be
good,
there.
what is responsible gun regulation right now?
Honestly, I mean, the way we're going is okay. I don't see anything wrong with, because California can outlaw whatever they want, and people are still
I
going to
honestly
come
don't think
in.
there is regulation to be had right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. Like, I think we're kind of doing what we need to be doing right now. We're doing the background checks we need to do. If some kid gets into his parents' gun locker, that is the parents' responsibility for not talking to their kids on how to properly use a weapon. And most of these kids don't have open. I can't say that any kid I've seen or any parent, they didn't look like they had a really close relationship. I'm
Sure.
just gonna say, okay, because if you had a close relationship, you would hear your kids
So you're
screaming
saying-
for that attention.
Don't enact gun laws. You're saying take responsibility for your kids.
Yes.
Have a
Take it for
relationship with your
yourself.
family.
Yes. And how hard
I
is that?
agree.
Instead, we want everybody
We have a
else to tell us
societal
how to do
problem,
it.
not a gun problem, not an abortion problem. We have an actual societal problem.
Yeah,
Like
no,
you
I
said,
agree.
you had talked about earlier, people feeling alone in a crowded room,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
We have a societal problem,
we do.
you know?
We don't want to communicate with each other, and we don't want to listen to each other. We just want to sit on top of boxes and scream, and nothing
Sure.
get resolved.
Yeah, get on Facebook and get on your soapbox.
Right.
I love when people go off on Facebook. That's
The
fun.
trolls,
It's
huh?
fun watching people just lose it on Facebook.
So I guess that's the thing. We didn't get to really talk much about the bus on this podcast, but we talked about a bunch of other stuff that led into really good conversations. And honestly, these are the conversations we have with or without a mic in front of our face.
No, they are.
I'm just glad that we were able to get some of this on recording. So, but yeah, guys, thanks.
Well, you're shutting it down?
Yeah, I think because
Oh,
we got
okay.
this guy coming in. We're hiring people for this tree lot, so we have some interviews to do. But I really appreciate you guys listening, and please definitely give us feedback. Comment on the episodes. Give us some questions. If you guys have any questions on anything or anything you'd like for us to talk about, we'd be totally happy to do that. I love talking to this guy across from me because we're not exactly the same on every single issue, but I feel like if we can make it through and figure out a common ground and where to communicate from, that our country can do that too. We all have to live in this same space, just like a marriage. You got to live in that same space, and you're not going to be exactly like your partner. You're going to be totally different, and that's why you loved and fell in love with that person. They're supposed to be that other side that completes you. Well, guess what, guys? Same thing with people all over this world, Republican, Democrat. We need each other. We need to have those different opinions to be able to make the best we can, which is why America is so great to begin with. and
Sure.
why so many people want to come here.
The melting pot.
It is. It's a huge eclectic mix of people. and that
Cultures,
makes us-
races, religions.
My kids could be completely cultured just visiting different states of the United States.
And that's the other thing, too. If we start regulating things like abortion, marijuana, or we already are,
Guns, whatever.
but now that the Supreme Court has more conservative people on there, I've been thinking recently. So me personally, I'm a libertarian, not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I could find myself on both sides of the aisle at any time.
Right.
But I've been thinking more and more, now that we have more Republicans on the Supreme Court, are they not going to try to go after
I
abortion?
hope not. I hope they leave that alone. I think
They've been attacking,
we
people
keep
have
going
been attacking
backwards.
that. What
and
I'm
we
saying
have to
is,
stop.
if we can start regulating, whether people can get abortions, whether you can have firearms,
Right.
then we can start telling people, you need to be this religion. Why don't we stop telling everybody else how to be and just start minding our own business? Because I
Mind your own
guarantee
business.
I got enough freaking problems to worry about. When it
Right.
honestly just comes to me, I got enough of them, my own problems. I can't be out telling everybody else. You know what you should be doing is,
Yeah.
when you're
It
working on a
doesn't
project and that person comes and tells you, you know what you should do?
Yeah.
No fucking guy. Why don't you tell me what I should be doing while
Yeah.
you're doing nothing, watching me work?
It is
you know?
a personal experience for
But that's
everybody.
what's going on in America today is we're all looking at somebody else and saying, you know what we should be, or you know what you should be doing.
Your kid should be in school. No, thanks. There's enough gun violence in schools. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay.
But you know, if
I'll take
there's got to be a
responsibility.
silver lining that has come out of, you know, the recent school shootings is the innovation from
Oh, yeah.
entrepreneurs, small businesses, some of the
Yes.
safety products. And I'm not
Bulletproof
talking about the bulletproof
backpacks.
backpacks. I'm talking about the little door stop.
Door stops.
So,
yeah.
you know, because I'd always talked about, you know, what happened to these vocation classes in most of these schools? Why don't you take the door down, have your wood shop go in there and hollow out that door just a little bit, and then go take it over to the welding shop, have them throw in a metal plate. Now you got this big, strong, heavy door,
What?
add another hinge to it.
Freaking Katie bar on that bitch.
Oh my gosh.
How easy.
Dude,
like
a
these little
Katie
easy
bar
things.
is hard to blow
Tell
through.
them when we would go do parent-teacher, the first day we'd go meet the teachers right before they actually went to school.
Okay.
And we scoped out their desk.
Okay.
We found out where they were at. What did you tell the girls? And like they were like,
Oh
in
yeah,
third,
I told them
second
how
grade.
I found the escape route, because I said if there's ever going to be a school shooting, you're not going to sit there and huddle up in a corner of a
No.
room and just be a
fucking
standstill target. It's not going to happen. So I told them, open the windows and
you said pick
run
up
out.
your desk.
If you can't
Yes.
open the windows, throw your desk through the window and run. And we one day walked from the school to the police department. So where my daughter's school was,
It was like 2
we
blocks.
started at her school and then walked down to the police station, because I wanted her to understand you're not going to just sit there and be a still target. You're going to fight back.
Duck in a pond.
But anyways, guys, we got to leave it for now because the gentleman just came.
Okay.
And so we're about to go conduct an interview real quick.
Thanks, guys, so much for listening, and we'll look forward to the next podcast.
Later. We're coming to you from our 49 square foot podcast studio, 100% powered by solar in our schooly Chitty Bang.
You can find our shenanigans online at thecrabshomestead.com and Talkin' Chitty on Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow our schooly life on Facebook at Chitty Bang Schooly and Instagram at The Crabs Homestead.